Hello, everybody. Welcome to another Harley Carnes podcast, Harley on the Headlines. I want to thank you for joining in. I want to thank you for liking, subscribing, following, and to remind you, I really can't do it without you, so I can use the help. When you encounter this story, there is a feeling of, oh, man, that's too bad. The former Prince Andrew of England has been arrested. Blame human hungers and Jeffrey Epstein's twisted ability to feed them for this. Andrew Mountbatten Windsor arrested by police in Britain on suspicion of misconduct in public office. Photos of him on all fours at one of Epstein's parties points in that direction. Police have been searching Andrew's homes in Berkshire and in Norfolk, England. In short, they are taking him apart. Andrew became the former Duke of York and a former prince in October when King Charles stripped him of his titles and honors in the royal way of things, tossing him aside in embarrassment. What the police want to know is who else was at the parties, to whom did he talk, and what secrets, if any, did he blurt out in moments of unguarded inebriation and the expansion that comes with sexual release? That's real stuff, because this is what Epstein was all about. He and his madam, who recruited most of the girls. The girls were the honey. Rich and powerful, horny old men were the flies. And Epstein was the ringmaster who became friend, cohort, confidant. Epstein helped some of them hide their money from the IRS, from Inland Revenue, and the other names that national tax collectors are called. Epstein is believed to have been a conduit of information for the CIA and others, perhaps, using his sophisticated and smarmy conduit of lust, luxury, and secret fun and games. We don't know enough about how deeply the corruption and actual evil went among the Epstein crowd. We only know that professionals who do know how to dig will eventually ferret it all out. Most of it they won't want to divulge, still protecting the rich and powerful by claiming ongoing investigation. Look, captains of industry and government officials from many countries were drawn into that orbit. There's no telling how much damage was done, and whatever we learn will not be the half of it. But some, like the hapless old prince, are expendable. In the West Village, meaning the west side of Greenwich Village, near the bottom of New York City, Socialist Mayor Mamdani has opened up his first come-get-it-while-it's-free grocery store. It's not a permanent storefront. It's what is called a pop-up store, temporary, be open a little while. And people came from all 5 of the city's boroughs, stamping their feet in the cold and snowy slush with their hands out, hoping for free food. Some people spent hours taking the subway, buses, walking to get there. There was no way to know who was really hungry and needed the food or who was just there because it's free. To get a bag of food, you had to have a ticket. Of course, they ran out of tickets. Long lines of people were very disappointed. One woman said, "It is disorganized. It is not safe." It looked like third world desperation. It looked like the real world encountering the Pollyanna picture of ivory tower progressives. Speaking of liberals in power, in Virginia, the new governor, Abigail Spanberger, crowed while taking office that it's been years since Democrats ran Virginia, but they're back. And Boeing immediately announced it is leaving Virginia. Boeing is taking its defense, space, and security headquarters back to St. Louis. That's where Boeing is investing multi-billions to build some of the most advanced combat aircraft factory facilities in the nation. Missouri's governor, Mike Kehoe, called it a major win for the heartland. When President Trump said he wanted to get into national politics to clean up the swamp in Washington, he had no idea. It's rapidly becoming a swamp again. Sewage has been spilling into the Potomac River in what has become record amounts. It's abandoned infrastructure in Maryland that is flushing, so far, 240 million gallons of actual sewage into the river. Fish are dying. Oxygen in the river is being depleted. The river itself stinks. The White House is concerned that if it goes on, D.C. will smell like poop. That's a quote when it's time for the nation's 250th birthday celebrations. Summer's coming, too, you know. The White House called for the leaders of Maryland, Virginia, and D.C. itself to ask the federal government for help. That's a legal requirement. That's all. It's a detail. Like using the National Guard. You got to ask to get the help. President Trump has said he's eager to send in whatever is necessary to get the job done. Well, D.C.'s mayor has quickly done so. Rather than make the request, though, Maryland's Democrat governor is blaming the federal government, says it's their problem. Governor Wes Moore appears more concerned about admitting his and previous state governments failed than to get the job done. Same problem in Virginia, but they have a new governor, so we'll cut her some slack. There's no good excuse for this sort of thing, but there's the D.C. area for you. What's actually leaking is one area, one problem with the infrastructure that is jointly run by D.C., by Maryland, and Virginia. They've all three dropped the ball. They've all three not gotten the job done. And they're all three responsible for this terrible, terrible sewage leak. Just shouldn't happen, you know. Cross your fingers, say a little prayer, or a big one, for the Board of Peace. Representatives from more than 40 countries that have already signed on, and observers from a dozen more who are thinking about it, are gathered to start the work, the planning stages of rebuilding Gaza, with an eye toward bringing prosperity to the Palestinian territory. Business opportunity, modern housing, security. Now, Gaza is far from shovel-ready. Hamas is not dead yet, and it has to be if the people of Gaza are ever to have a sense of individual freedom. That's the goal, to create Gaza anew. The Board of Peace is the vision of President Trump. It is praised all around the world for its audacious effort to bring stability and peace to one of the most restive places in the world. That's why more than 40 countries have already signed on. Today is merely the first meeting. It's going to be a long road. Don't we all have a soft heart for good animal stories? I mean, we do. In New Jersey, the ice on the Shrewsbury River has been slowly melting and getting thinner. A deer wandered out on it and fell through. Now, in the natural world, such things happen. The deer would have died, end of its life cycle, claimed by natural circumstance and bad luck. But when we see deer, we think of Cute and Bambi. They're beautiful, graceful animals, and the unthinking among us like to feed them and halfway domesticate them and overpopulate them. That's a different story. In this story, it's a rescue, of course. Oceanport, New Jersey, sent its firefighters and its police department and the first aid squad. Seabright sent extra firefighters. So did the town of Little Silver. They didn't need that many people. They only needed maybe 2 or 3. An inflatable raft and a catch pole is what it took to help the deer back to dry land, where, of course, it solemnly bowed its head low toward the ground, looked them squarely in the eyes, and marched like a queen back into the woods, saying thank you. Nah, not really. It wasn't a Disney movie. The deer took a couple of quick steps, went back into the woods. Done, dusted. Thanks for the help. Lastly, here's a great little animal story from Germany. Now, when I see birds, I often think, gee, how small and gorgeous dinosaurs have become. Little creatures. I marvel at them when they fly. As a longtime pilot, birds inspire me. Sometimes they surprise us, though. In North Bremen, there was a bird that had somehow got a fishhook stuck in its beak. Easy to figure. It was a cormorant, one of the great flying seabirds of the world. It eats fish, and stupid humans leave their fishhooks behind. A fishhook in your beak can make eating your meals more difficult. So that cormorant went looking for help, and in fact, went to the local hospital, perched on the windowsill, and tapped on the window. Tap, 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 tap. Hey, someone come out and get this hook out of my mouth. I'm hungry out here. Well, with help from valiant firefighters, the bird was captured. The offending barbs were snipped off and the hook was removed, just like when one snags you on the riverbank, age 11. As for the cormorant, he's back out there catching fish, being magnificent. That's what they do. Thanks for joining in today for Harley on the Headlines. Sure do appreciate it. Like doing these podcasts, you know. I can't do it by myself. Thanks for helping to spread the good word that we're doing this together. I hope you will like, follow, subscribe, send somebody an email, urge others to do the same. I am Harley Carnes, and we'll talk again soon. In the meantime, you could do me and actually do yourself a favor. Be happy today. Make some good choices in your life. And fly safe. It's the only way to get there. I just noticed that recently, you know. That's why we have to say it from time to time. Be safe. Fly safe. Should I redo this or just say goodbye? I think I'll just